fellow citizens.
PlayStation.
So exciting.
Incredibly exciting.
It's really about love
For the players' effort.
as a developer. That's an amazing feeling to have.
Welcome to PlayStation 5.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of latest PS5. What an episode we have for you today. It's finally happened. The PlayStation 5 reveal has happened. Now, we were going to record on the night, but for a number of reasons. A, we were a little bit drunk. B, we were overexcited. And C, we wanted to give more time and more reflection, see if anything else came out about the games. The big one being Spiderman as well, obviously, that we wanted to make sure that this episode was as detailed as it can be, you know, which is what I think we're going to do tonight. So before I tell you how the show's going to work, my name is Sunny, and I am joined by, once again, Mr. Alex Sylvester. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing good, people. Exciting times, man. What a time to be alive.
Definitely. You know, I mean, it's just nice as well that even though it was only a week delay in a time where the world is just breaking, it was nice to just not forget what's happening, but just to get some positivity somewhere for an hour, you know, on that June 11th, you know, and yeah, it was just it was a great event.
Really, isn't it? Yeah, it's been a bit like a pandemic, and obviously with the political issues, it's just been nice to have, like you're saying, some good news. You know what I mean? Something to look forward to. You know, because obviously this has been on the forefront of every tech's mind on the planet. So yeah, man, it felt like Christmas came early. That was definitely well needed.
So before we get into it, what you been playing lately? What's the games you've been playing the last few weeks?
Right, last few weeks. Well, I completed Mario Odyssey. So, all you Nintendo fans out there, so is that a cheer? Yeah, I heard that. So I got all 900. I think I got like 1,000 moons. So I've completely smashed that game to pieces. And to be honest, that game's not looking too bad, man. I mean, you compare it to some of the PlayStation 5 games coming out. Just joking, fans. I mean, but yeah, it's still a gorgeous game. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, man. It's been an epic time. I've sunk about 60 hours into that game, so definitely valuable money. How about yourself?
You need to up those numbers to pro levels, mate. And it's 60 hours is nothing on the PlayStation side of things, trust me. But mate, I've been flying because The Last of Us is coming.
Yep.
I have been blitzing through games, and you know, I finished a horror game, Those Who Remain. I played a little bit of Blood and Truth on VR, didn't get a chance to finish it, need to finish it. I played a game, and I highly recommend it. I actually think it's my 2020 game of the year so far. And it's a small independent game. It's called Deliver Us the Moon, right?
Okay.
It's published by Wired Productions. It's on PlayStation Network. I think it's on the Switch as well. I'm not sure. And it's basically about, it's set in the future. Earth is like a dust bowl, you know, basically the way of Interstellar, really, where they can't sustain growing food and, you know, life is dwindling down. Luckily, the World Space Agency, as they're called, then actually find an energy source on the moon. So they create like this huge station on the moon that can send energy back to Earth. But then something goes wrong. There's no communication, and you're a singular astronaut who goes to the moon to find out what happened. And it's really cool because it's a mix of third person but first person when you're in zero gravity. And the story's all told in holograms and like memos and emails and everything. But it's just a simple game, but it's so engrossing. And if you love space like I do, you're gonna love it. And visually as well, you know, simulated ray tracing in that game. It looks stunning for an independent game as well. The moon bits are amazing. Highly recommended. Finish that. I'm on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Nice.
The action bits I enjoy, but the game is kind of pissing me off a little bit now because it's just dragging and I want it to finish, so I'm ready for The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've been
Everybody else.
playing. So I
Yeah.
know all the listeners are thinking, I don't care. Let's talk
Yeah,
PlayStation
let's just
5.
talk PlayStation.
Let's talk PlayStation 5. So the way this episode is going to go
Mm.
is we're going to talk about the entire PlayStation 5 reveal event, every single game, hardware, what we enjoyed about the show the most, the actual look and feel of the show. So we're going to go through all of that, but we're kind of going to flip it a little bit, Alex, because you can't start in order when the ending was as climactic as that. So we're going to
Yeah.
go into it first.
We'll start with the icing on the cake.
Talk to me. Not even the icing, the cherry. Talk to me.
The cherry of the cake, the good stuff, the
Okay,
hardware,
so
the
your
PlayStation
thoughts
5.
on. Okay, I'll chuck the questions and then your
Yeah.
thoughts. What were
Well,
you thinking as the video was playing? When did it click to you that, oh my God, it's going to be the hardware? And then
yeah.
obviously your thoughts on the hardware.
All right then. So my thoughts were like, oh my God, they have to show the hardware. And I think as you were there, every single time they had their little respites between the games, they kept on hinting little things. I mean, I'm sure we saw a little bit of the UI. I was thinking, hang on, that just looks a bit odd. But then as the presentation went on, when that one tune that you sent through actually by was it MK, that little subtle thing, you start seeing all the bubbles start rotating around. That's when obviously the penny dropped, and obviously they were just unveiling what everybody came there to see, as well as the games, what this freaking thing is going to look like. And oh my God, it looked beautiful. I just thought, yeah, man, that looks sick. I mean, completely different to any of the other form factors that I thought they were going to go for. I mean, it was curved as hell. But yeah, I was blown away. Literally blown away. Yeah, yeah. How about you?
So again, good way to do it actually is just like segment it before we actually talk about what we think about the hardware. But yeah, same thing.
Okay.
You ran off to the bathroom. I shouted you to come back down at a crazy time when the kids and everyone are sleeping and the
Yeah.
wife is sleeping, because you could just tell. I knew as soon as the balls came up,
It's gonna go. Yeah.
when it shot out from the devs, I was like, oh my God, they're showing the hardware. And everything about it was great. You know, the tone, the
Yep.
build up, the sacred symbols in the black.
hmm
And then as you said, before I carry on, shout out to you. You called it. You said the hardware, but
Yep.
you highlighted it live as it was happening. The vent focus, when it's the balls switch to the blue vents,
Yeah.
and
That was
then
nice.
that chilled out 50 Shades of music came. It was just everything was perfect. The tone, everything, and for the way the
Let
machine
me just give a
looked.
little shout out to, is it MF Graves, Self Control? That's the name of the tune, guys, because I was feeling it as soon as I heard the track. So
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. It was just,
yeah,
but that was it. It was just, everything up until the machine was actually shown. The tone, the
yep,
speed, the camera angles, the colors, the
yeah,
music fit that absolutely perfect. You know
it
what I
did,
mean?
it did.
And
Yeah, yeah.
again, we'll get your thoughts on it now. The actual hardware itself, oh my goodness!
Yeah.
I don't like the disk drive bump at the bottom. It
Yeah,
looks like a tumor, and the reason I say
yeah.
that is because they put it next to the sleek digital edition, which doesn't have the bloody
Afterwards,
tumor on
innit?
the side of it, right? Because I sat there and I was looking at it for ages the next day when I was sober and I could actually see properly. I was just looking at it, and in case you're wondering, listeners, me and Alex ourselves drank through a litre bottle of Jack Daniels and a
Yeah.
quarter bottle of Haig, and it was
Oh my God,
hilarious.
a quarter. I was just trying to remember how much that was.
It
Bloody
was
hell.
just absolutely buzzing,
Yeah,
crazy, over the top hype for the PS5. But yeah, the machine itself, absolutely gorgeous. I have to say, it's the sleekest machine I've seen. It's by far the best unveil in terms of the video, the packaging, and everything. I don't
yeah,
think there's been a better hardware reveal. Because Sony have always done it like, it's in a box or somebody's holding it and they lift it up
yeah.
and things. Microsoft do the videos. I have a clubber girl carrying it out in a backpack or whatever. Nintendo just do the adverts and the commercials and stuff, which is cool again. And I think Sony it's the first time they've done it like this,
Yeah.
and ballpark pen right out. Love the hardware, love the color tones. But before we get into the all digital edition, dude, your thoughts on the actual hardware looking?
On the actual hardware looking, to me, the first thing that stuck out to me was the fact that it looked like an Alienware machine. And like those who don't know about Alienware, they make a lot of custom machines for gamer performance machines, laptops and desktops for Dell. So if you check out them, you can see the same type of accents. And I think Sony, especially for the power that this system's going to be housing, they needed to go for something similar, something which is going to be just ready for performance. And you could tell by the accents, the vents especially, and then they've got their own little flair to it. I don't know what it looks like. I mean, I'm looking at it now. I mean, it looks. What's the theme? What's the accent they're going for? Maybe a
It
tulip or
looks like
a
Wayne
flower or
Tower.
something.
It looks like
It looks
Wayne
like that.
Tower.
Yeah,
You
like the
know.
Avengers Tower or something, man. But I think, yeah, it was a very nice design. It makes sense as well in terms of the cooling. I mean, that's the main aspect of this thing because it's so powerful. It needs to have vents all the way around. We've got it on the front as well as the top. But yeah, I think it's a very nice looking machine. And it's definitely something that none of the pre-renders or the concepts that people threw out there could ever imagine.
Mm.
So I'm glad that they took a left and they took a massive gamble and decided to go for something that didn't look like a trash can. You know what I mean? Or a fridge, as what Xbox and Microsoft have done.
And then what was your live thoughts when they cut to black
Yeah.
and then they restart the video and it's the old digital edition? And again,
Oh,
timed
yes.
perfectly to the beat.
That time was perfect. I think that just sent to me that was a massive nuclear warhead straight at Microsoft. As you know, listeners, we were talking about Microsoft's ace in the hole being Project Lockhart, which is going to be their digital-only machine. As soon as the music just blacked out after we saw the initial PlayStation 5, and then we started to see it again, and then everybody kind of clocked on, yes, it has to be the digital edition. That just sent firing shots straight to Microsoft's headquarters to show them that, yeah, we've actually got this. We've actually got a digital edition. What are you going to say now, biatch?
Yeah, but
That's what went through my mind. I thought this was brilliant. Great play from Sony, man.
I think,
Great.
again, same thing. When I saw it, I was just like, oh, I was going crazy. And then obviously all the hardware and accessories and stuff came after that. But I thought about it afterwards as well. It's the naming convention works for the average consumer who's not a hardcore gamer. Hello, can I have a play? What's the latest PlayStation? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, why is there 2? Okay, there is the PlayStation 5 and there's the PlayStation All Digital. It doesn't play discs. Simple. When you have Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, that's the rumored name, or Xbox One X, Xbox One All S Digital, it's the naming doesn't work. So I was really, really happy that Sony just called it the All Digital Edition. That was it, you know.
I think it's definitely going to work, but it also means that obviously we'll talk about pricing later, but that's just changed the game completely. So
well, we're talking about the hardware now, dude. Your thoughts on what do you think the price is going to be?
Well, I think the pricing, now that they've actually gone for the all digital edition and they definitely want to recoup the cost of the machine itself, I think we could be seeing a higher price point than we originally thought. I think
for the disc one,
for the disc one is definitely going to be skyrocketed, I think. You know what I mean? Just throwing it out there now, guys. But with the tech inside there, I think the digital edition is going to be the one that they will push forward through the more conventional price point at $499, and the disc edition or the original PlayStation 5 will be more towards maybe the 500, 550s. You know, towards that range. That's what I think they'll go.
I'm gonna trump you, bro.
Yeah.
I think the all digital's the $399 model.
You actually think they're going to go down?
I think it's 400.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know it's 450. Okay, so it's apparently $453 to manufacture the disc machine, right? Now, so that that within a year you kind of draw level, unless you're PS3, that is, on your manufacturing costs because components become cheaper and all that happens. You buy in bigger bulk because you're selling a lot more than what you did in the first year. And I think Sony have probably looked at it, and I look back at what their stories were, which were we've got to look over value, we've got to look, Sony were considering how much can they take a hit because they balanced the books with the PlayStation Plus subscriptions, PlayStation Now games, hardware, accessories. I think the all digital will be $399 because you've got to remember if it's $453 and a 4K Blu-ray drive component is not in there, right? Then that drops the price. So I think they'll make a loss on the digital, but a very minor one. And I think the disc one will be $499. I think they know they can't go to $599 because of what obviously the backlash on PS3. But that saying, we know it's all about what Microsoft do.
Yeah,
neither will budge until the other one goes. They will leave it as late as they can. If Microsoft come out and say, Xbox Series X is $699, and Xbox Series S is $499. Sony will be like, oh, perfect. Let's go within those numbers, and then
yeah.
it's gonna be like that. But if I was to do a best guess, I'd say $399 digital. You say $499, and I think $499 for the disc, and you think
Oh, did I say
$599.
Did I say no? What I meant was I meant 400. I would say 400. Sorry, guys.
Oh, four.
It
So
was supposed to 400. Yeah, it's supposed to be 400 for the all digital one, and then 550, 600 for the. So there's going to be like a bit of a gap, man. I mean, I was thinking they're not going to just make like maybe £100 gap for it. I think they're just going to like throw it out there. So that's what I was thinking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Before we move on to the games, your final thoughts on the overall package of that PS5 hardware section and
I
with the
think the overall.
accessories as well.
And the accessories, I think it's going to be a great Christmas for anyone who wants to pick out all those different accessories for it. I mean, they all look high quality. They all look stunning. They look refreshed as well. I like the white accents on all of them, the white and black, and the minute details as we saw the other day. The little grip on the underside of the controller, and I think even some aspects of the console itself. You can see the little the logos, the X, the zero, the triangle, the square, just imprinted really finely with a digital print. I think that's a nice touch, or digital engraving.
Listen to me,
But
bro.
yeah, man, I think it's gonna look freaking amazing when it finally gets here. But it looks huge, though.
Before we
didn't even
carry
talk
on,
about the size. Yeah.
it's a fucking circle, not a zero.
Oh yeah, okay, we got that.
You know,
Yeah, it's not X is a cross.
yeah.
Anyway,
It's
you guys
but
are talking
circle,
about.
bro. Come on, circle, triangle, circle, X square, innit? Like, don't care about the cross. But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean,
Yeah.
the video as well, as I said to you, it's probably the best reveal I've seen for hardware. It was so good. It was so stunning. And even when you watch it, you still get goosebumps watching it now. And it's just like, we went back that night and watched the Xbox Series X unveil, and we were just kind of laughing as we compared the two. But yeah.
They didn't do anything with the design really. I mean, they've got that little dip, haven't they, on the Xbox Series X. But yeah, hats off to Sony, man. Again, you know what I mean? They've just knocked this one out the park.
Well, to give you an idea, just the hardware reveal trailer is now PlayStation's most viewed and most liked video. So as of midday today, it had 22 million views.
Boy.
In comparison, for over the months that the Xbox Series X official video was there, that had 12 million. So almost doubled it. And it had 1.1 million likes and only 48,000 dislikes, which was probably Xbox fans.
Expected. Yeah, of course.
But that's a good number for them. But yeah, that was the hardware, listeners. Again, we would love to know what your thoughts are as well on that. But for now, we're going to move on to the games where we will talk about all 26 of them. Okay, so first of the many games. I actually liked this. A lot of people didn't, but it was an acknowledgement. As the sizzle video at the beginning showed, PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and then the sizzle reel was PS4 games. I liked the fact that they focused on the biggest game, which is GTA 5. I said it to you how many episodes ago. I said to you that GTA 5 will come out on PlayStation 5. It's too big.
Yeah,
it came out in 2013. It's at 130 million plus sales, right?
Yeah.
Worldwide. It's a no-brainer. GTA Online is a juggernaut. It makes so much money. It is ridiculous. But they showed the GTA 5 montage. It's not coming out until the second half of 2021. So you're looking at August, September. And that Rockstar have said is for them to understand the SSD and the hardware and get it right. It's a test bed for GTA 6, isn't it? But
definitely.
we don't need to go into GTA too much, but obviously your thoughts that it's GTA 5. I mean, be honest, we both jumped out of our skin when the Rockstar logo came, didn't we?
Yeah, when it came, it was like, so it's going to be GTA 6, but are they really going to go that far? But then obviously when we saw the graphics before, we're looking at GTA 5 again. But again, I mean, it's Rockstar. They know what they're doing. And the nice little twists, additions they're throwing in there. I love the flying DeLorean from Back to the Future. I thought that was a really nice touch. And it's just going to be the same thing, but in a brand new packaging, which is going to be full of adrenaline, excitement, and it's just going to be another winner. So why not go for the Guinness Book of Records and relaunch the game again for a third generation?
So
I'll be impressed when I finally see it on the Switch. To be honest, I don't think
that's what I'm kind of shocked. I think it's got to come out with I think if there's a Pro Switch, which there is, we know there is, right? It will come out there. If GTA does not come to this new Switch when the PS5 and thingy version comes, I'll be in complete shock. I know the game is technically demanding, but it's flipping running on a PS3. Come
They
on,
could,
you know what I mean?
no, they could do. Remember the Switch can definitely handle like what the PS3 and the Xbox 360. If they had
That's what
Pro
I'm saying.
editions,
You know,
that would be the Switch.
I honestly, because there's money and millions of copies to be made there. The only reason Rockstar wouldn't release it on Nintendo on the Switch, I'll be honest with you, is because of Nintendo. They're very funny about adult orientated games.
They
You,
are,
you
they
know,
are. But then
so
we've had games like mentioned before, like Hellblade, you know what I mean, Sword and Sacrifice, and that's just pretty much gory as hell, as well as Resident Evil 7, you know. So I
listen,
think they've
you
kind
can
of,
have the worst of the
yeah,
worst when you have those three initials
mhm.
associated with your machine in GTA, right? It's just the
Yeah,
association with the
yeah,
name,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But are you safe to say now if it's at 130 by the time PS5 and that comes out, we'll probably be at 140. It'll do another 10 million this year.
Oh, yeah,
Do
it's going to
you
be a brilliant. That's
think
one for the books. They're going for those Tetris numbers,
you
isn't
talked about it? Can GTA before 6 comes out, which is probably about 2024, hit
it?
200 million?
Ooh,
It
that'd be
can, can't it?
interesting.
It does about 20 million a
I think
year.
yeah, over its lifetime, like lifetime sales. There's lifetime sales definitely will reach to 200. That's going to be setting for another what, another two, no, another 10 years, I'd say. I mean,
Definitely.
it's up there with like the likes of Skyrim, I guess, like Witcher. You know, there's loads of games which are pretty, World of Warcraft. You know what I mean? We've got some long running
Dude, these
games, and
games
this
that
is
you're
like the
talking
best in this
about are
feature.
big, but they haven't. You can add them all together, with the exception of World of Warcraft, Witcher, all
Mm,
these games. You add them, they do not come to GTA's numbers. That's how big it is. It's
yeah, yeah,
ridiculous. But moving on.
yeah.
Oh,
Moving
what
on.
a way to start! If you wanted to throw your ace in the hole, right on, if you want to put the perfect poker hand down, if you want to answer the question we had on Halo Infinite being a strong point, you start your proper PS5 reveal with Marvel Spider-Man. Miles Morales. Your thoughts, Alex?
Morales. I thought that was a brilliant way, especially in light of what's been happening recently all around the world. This was a nice touch for Sony to throw in there, you know, and obviously with Miles Morales coming from the Spider-Verse film that was released, was it last year?
Hmm.
Which was to me is one of the top five Spider-Man films ever created. This was a nice little touch and addition for them to introduce Miles Morales into the gaming industry, you know, because we've never really had a game where we've played it as Miles Morales, you know,
Mm.
or a whole dedicated game anyway. The graphics looked phenomenal, as you could see. It looked like traditional Spider-Man with the brilliant set pieces. You could see the detail and the sweat and like the dimples in his skin. I mean, I thought, oh my God, we're looking at some true PS5 tech here, and what a way to start the presentation. What a way to show it.
Definitely. And a big thing as well is it was just the fluidity of the animations, everything, and I liked the focus on nighttime and the winter in
Yeah,
Manhattan, that it's focused on snow, so it can make it look like it's really, really different
yeah,
of what's going on basically on that front. But there was a big report out after. Again, this is the problem, when you have people uh, on social media. I'm not going to name him, but he recently joined Bloomberg to jump
mm,
on negativity as fast as they possibly can and report
yeah,
it based on one source. It started going around that Miles Morales was actually an expansion and
yeah.
a part of the original Spider-Man game, which you
Hmm.
would have to rebuy. And they all jumped on it. Everybody, obviously, as you can imagine, Xbox fans were throwing fuel on the fire. People who don't pay attention and just wait for the actual source. And that
Yeah,
was Insomniac Games who came out and said, no, Miles Morales is a standalone game in a
yeah,
similar vein to Uncharted, The Lost Legacy, which was a 7-hour game. And it was
yeah.
flipping amazing. And someone goes, yeah, but it's only 7 hours. I was like, yeah, that's longer than 80% of the games that come out on the market. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, true,
And
true.
I actually like the idea of having alternative Spider-Man games. I love the fact that I hope they do it where they go like Peter Parker one game, Miles one game, Peter Parker one game, Miles one game, you know, something like that,
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's from the success of the film. I think they realised that the audience wants to see the different variations of Spider-Man now, and I think with the next Marvel film with Doctor Strange, anyway, the Multiverse of Madness, I think that's when they're going to start to introduce the idea of fusing these different parallel universes together, and
Definitely.
then hopefully you should see it in the Spider Universe as well.
And you mentioned it, Into the Spider-Verse is a new Spider-Man, like, you know, universe that Sony as a movie studio want to create as
Yeah,
well. And it's the perfect tie-in. And like you said, what a way to open it. We went absolute crazy. And I want to do something after each game, Al. Rating out of 10. So not what you think, but just the
yeah,
impression it left on you as soon as you watched
that's
it.
it.
So 10, right?
Okay. Yeah, cool. All right then. So with
So
Spider-Man, definitely I'm going to go with. Well, I'd like to see a lot more in-game footage. But I'm going to put it up there. I mean, it's in the high eights, definitely.
what?
High eights,
Mate,
man.
no, I'm not talking about the content. I'm talking about just what you were thinking after it. Mine's an 11 on Miles Morales. I'll tell you that. Music, beats,
I'm going to be
everything.
grading it properly, man. I mean, come on, man. We start throwing out 11s, man. It's
Nah,
already gone
dude.
past the 10
Okay,
limit.
all right, okay. Fair play. I'll give it a 9
All right.
because no one
Yeah.
expected it to say holiday. The
Oh, yeah.
holiday 2020 jumped the
Yeah.
rating to
Yeah.
the 9. You know, like holy shit. You can have
Yeah.
Master Chief or whoever. The moment you have the black and red of Spider-Man, it's over. You know,
Yeah.
it was so
Brilliant.
good. Moving on, then we then had Gran Turismo, and not
Yeah.
only did we have Gran Turismo in all its glorious ray tracing, they decided to take the piss and show gameplay as well. And you noticed on the night live the draw distance that there was no pop up, no texture
Yeah.
pop up, despite how fast the cars were going. Your thoughts on
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 7?
Yeah, it looked brilliant, man. I mean, I think you could see them really utilizing the ray tracing aspect of things. It looks so natural. Not to mention the draw distances. I mean, you're looking at the rear view mirror or rear view digital display that they had on the inside, which looked equally as defined. You know what I mean? So the fidelity and the detail was brilliant. So yeah, it looked visually amazing. Obviously, I can't wait to get my hands on it. I mean, I'm not a really super big gamer, but especially with the DualSense, it's going to be really interesting to see how they incorporate that with the resisted triggers during gameplay, not to mention the haptic feedback. So those are the aspects that I'm really looking forward to experiencing.
But that's the thing, you said it to me, it's the tech features. The one thing I noticed when we went, as soon as that show finished, we rewatched all the trailers that were uploaded in 4K, and I can't underestimate just when he got close to a car. This car looked like it was from the CGI trailers. You know what I mean? It looked so good. And
Yeah.
there's a little bit in there where the car comes slightly in front of him and then goes back, but the reflection of the player's car was in his tail light.
Yeah.
You
It just
know,
looks
and
so
I was just
detailed.
like, oh my god! But you said it best. That what excites me the most about this is the haptic feedback, the adaptive
Yep.
triggers, and the 3D audio. Car games
Yeah.
are tech. They're just
Yeah.
tech like demos, you know, and it looks
Yeah.
so good. But okay, so I'm gonna give Gran Turismo because it had a trailer, and then they took the piss because it's like they thought, yeah, if we just show a trailer, they're gonna bitch because the screen
Yeah.
blacked out and they showed the gameplay. It was just like
It did, yeah. No, I couldn't believe
they were
that.
taking the piss a little bit. Like, yeah, we're showing gameplay here. So for that, I
Yeah.
gave the Gran Turismo 8.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll give the Gran Turismo a 7. It'll be a very high 7. Obviously, I want to play it, and that will obviously change my mind. But I think from what I've seen in terms of visuals, though, visuals alone, I mean, it's already up there. But it's like if we're just looking at the visuals alone, we're looking at a 10, like an easy 10. You know,
No,
an
it's
easy
just
10.
it's
But
just the overall thoughts. We won't focus on
yeah,
visuals
overall
because I
thoughts.
know the
Yeah.
next game is
Yeah.
probably going to get you a 10, and
Yeah.
it was the ultimate showing of SSD superiority, and that's Ratchet and Clank: A Rift
Oh,
Apart.
dang.
Now, before I let you just saliva over it, it looked like a Disney Pixar movie.
It did.
Everything just looked thick and lush. The
Yeah.
particle effects were absolutely ridiculous. There was just so much happening on the screen and no frame rate issue. And the tears, I can't even, there's no words, bro. You take it from here.
And it's like it was just continuous, isn't it? It was just like okay, and the way they just introduced it was pretty much just introducing you into like this brand new technology and basically showing exactly how it's going to be utilized. Because at the beginning it just looked like a normal Ratchet and Clank game, having a bit of dialogue. We're going to get into the story, but then one after the other, it just kept on going through worlds and worlds, and that for all the tech heads out there are thinking, oh my god, how are they rendering all those worlds at once? You know, just one after the other with no load times, whatever. That was just a brilliant showcase to show you. Oh yeah, remember that SSD we were talking about? Here it is.
Exactly,
You
and
know
that's
what I
why
mean?
we did a whole episode on it. But I think, I mean, Digital Foundry did a breakdown of it as well, and Ratchet and Clank was the one that they just said it is insane to think that this is the one game that they definitely showed that will not run on this generation of hardware because of that SSD.
'Cause it just,
But because you have to pull memory and have it ready in a bottleneck on current hardware. This,
yeah,
as you said, had worlds just ready to go, ready
yeah.
to go, ready to go,
No,
and the
no pop-ups,
speed.
no nothing. It was just there we go. Here you are. Let's go. And if that's the way the game's going to play, I mean, that's just going to be one of the best games for the PS5,
Well,
definitely, if not generation, man.
we don't need to really talk about it much now, but almost
Yeah,
every single game that was shown, all the developers have individually gone on and said that yeah, native 4K, native 4K, 60 frames, and
yeah,
all this stuff, and that's crazy. But there's a really funny GIF going on around online, and it's Ratchet jumping from one world through a rift to another,
mm,
and the title at the top is Ratchet running on other next gen hardware, and as he jumps through the rift, it's like a 3 second load, and then he
yeah.
lands in the next one, and it was just like, oh, that's a piss take. But
Nice touch, yeah. I'm sure Microsoft's a bit pissed off with that. It's like, no, no, we got good stuff as well. It's like, yeah, whatever.
definitely, but I mean, again, they said it ray tracing on the
Yeah, on the
floor. That looks
floor.
so good, and Clank
Yeah.
as well on his back.
A Blank on his back, you know what I mean? You could see on the fur as well. He looked really great, and like the voice acting as well just looks second to none on it. So yeah, it's I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people have asked whether they're actually do a movie for Ratchet and Clank, and I don't think it's ever going to need it really. I mean, this experience is just unique. You know what
Well,
I
there
mean?
was a Ratchet and Clank film in 2016,
Yeah,
and people have been putting up side by side comparisons from Ratchet the movie model versus
yeah,
Ratchet the PS5 model. Dude, and the
yeah,
PS5 model looks ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
got that extra bit of detail on
It's
there.
just got that lush, yeah. It's got that 2020 coat of paint on it, and it just runs so smooth. So yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to
Oh,
this one. The,
you love the game. I love the game. What's your rating?
This one's going to get a solid 9.5 out of 10
Oh
because
my
it just
god.
looks great. It's going to be a tough one. I'm saving that 10 for another game, but anyway, but yeah, definitely. I think yeah, that's what it's getting from me. A nice showcase of how the SSD is going to run, and I just can't wait to get my hands on it. How
Well,
about
I
you?
give Ratchet. I'm going to give it a 10, just because I feel like the balls on Insomniac to just go, we're going to show you what this SSD can do,
Yeah, yeah,
and then and the ray tracing and everything, and they just did it. And you can just show that, and you can just show set pieces, but they deliberately showed all hell breaking loose on the
yeah,
screen with particle effects and everything, and nothing
yeah,
was faltering. I was just like, this is a first wave PS5 game. What is
yeah.
Ratchet going to look like at the end of the generation?
You know what I mean? Like so real. He looked like pretty Sonic from the movie or something, or even better. It's just gonna be crazy. But yeah, man. Just solid outing from Insomniac, man. And next we have Project Athia. The next outing from Square Enix. It's the first one of the showcase. What are your thoughts?
I thought, oh my god, when it said Luminous Engine, I was like, no, they're not showing Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2.
Yeah,
And obviously, as soon as I saw her shoes, I knew straight away, this is not Final Fantasy. Doesn't look
yeah,
anything like Final Fantasy. But visually stunning as well. When it showed, again, just that brief snippet of gameplay, it looked
yeah,
like Death Stranding on steads, the rocks
yeah,
in the ground. And when something looks that good, you notice it no matter how short it is,
yeah,
and you could notice it on this. And the thing is, the Luminous engine, this generation with Final Fantasy 15, with Remake 7, all these games, that they can pull it off,
yeah.
because it does look that good. So yeah, I
It
really
does,
really
yeah.
thought it was really cool. What was your thoughts on it?
My thoughts were this looks just, well, very similar to the Unreal Engine 5 demo. I know I mentioned it when we watched it
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
time.
yeah.
The way that she leaps from rock to rock, it just looked just like it.
It
And
did.
I was thinking, hang on, was this part of the demo? I mean, did this influence it in some way? And another remakes actually, even though it's using Luminous Engine, it also used, was it Unreal Engine 4 for the remake for Final Fantasy 7 remake. So I was thinking, hang on, are they actually working on this project? I mean, they've only given it Project Athia. They haven't actually given like a final title, but I think this could be this could have something to do with the Unreal Engine demo that we saw. And if it does, that means that this game could look freaking amazing. It may not be, guys, but I think it looks close. It was just
Well,
that leap. It was just that leap at the end. I just thought, hang on, that looks too similar. Too
well,
similar.
they said it's Luminous Engine. That is their internal engine that they use for Final Fantasy 15. If you watch the
Yeah,
YouTube videos and the way their coats and that move,
yeah,
they
yeah.
look very similar to Project Athia.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's got anything to do with the Unreal Engine, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they turn around and say, "Ah, we're struggling with this engine. We're switching to Unreal 5." Something a Square thing would
Yeah,
do.
it could be. Yeah, it's true. They could do it, but we never know. But it just looked very similar. That's all I'd say. It could have definitely influenced them for the idea for it. But I thought it looked phenomenal. I think it looked really good. I think it looked like I don't know, like I guess Lara Croft meets Zelda or something. I don't know. It's just like meets Final Fantasy. Just like a whole culmination of all of them. The lighting looked amazing. Just the animation looked great. I mean, it's gonna be definitely an interesting game to see exactly what the story's about. So I'm
Mm.
definitely looking forward to it. But again, that leap at the end was just the one thing
Well, a
that
big
sold
thing
to me.
about it as well is it's PlayStation 5 console exclusive,
Oh
which
yeah.
means it's coming to PC. So as well, but the
Oh
fact that
right.
it's
Okay.
PS5 only though is for consoles is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's definitely going to be one to look out for, definitely. And Square Enix, obviously smacking it out the park as always. Okay, let's give it a rating then. So, what are your thoughts?
7, just didn't see enough. It looked
Seven.
amazing, but even that short 40 seconds, 50 seconds gets a high 7 because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
that good looking,
yeah.
So
Yeah,
7.
yeah, definitely. I'll give it a 7 as well. I mean, I think definitely look visually amazing. I want to see a lot more gameplay, and if it is somehow connected to that animation or it's got anything similar to it, I think that's just going to blow my socks off anyway. So, yeah, I guess definitely a solid 7 for me. Okay, next we have Stray, which for those who have already seen it, is that cat game that we all saw. We were thinking, what the hell is this all about? Start with the robots at the beginning, and they were like, some of them were homeless, some of them were cooking, some of them were doing hair. It just looked really weird. What were your thoughts on that one? Because I
The
was
world,
thinking,
the game with the chappies in it, the world of chappies. That's what I call it,
chappies, yeah,
chappy.
that's it,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
chappies.
honestly, I think the fact that you're playing as a cat tells me. I mean, the good thing about this showcase is it had something for everybody,
Yeah,
and I can tell that this is an independent game. It's not like a big AAA game, um, because you'll get pretty bored pretty quick playing as a cat. But
yeah, for so long.
I like the
But
idea. I like.
then again, I mean, we've had Sonic the Hedgehog. We've had Crash Bandicoot. We've had Bears. We've had
I give
Banjo
it
Kazooie. We've had even had a plumber.
just because it was a CGI
Yeah.
trailer. It could have been using in-game assets, but the fact that we didn't actually see gameplay to see how it would work,
Mm.
this one is gonna get 4 from me.
Well,
I'm only saying it now because I haven't seen enough to give it anything higher. So, and it's
yeah.
not the lowest rated one I'm giving on the show, so I
Okay.
give it a 4.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give it a 5 just because they're introducing cats into a world which I would have thought there would have been cat games already. So, but yeah, go for it. I mean, you got to give it to these indie developers. Definitely trying to push the bar and innovation. So, yeah, gets a 5 from me. Okay, and we're then going straight into Returnal.
Oh
Returnal.
yes,
Yeah, now that this game looked like if Aliens and Prometheus and I don't know
this
whatever
was the
else.
time loop one where she kept dying,
Yeah,
didn't she? Yeah,
when you get and yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, if they all had a baby, it would be this game.
yeah.
So I think it looked good. It looked really good. The visuals obviously they're very detailed. But yeah, over to you, man. What do you think?
I think the one thing you can guarantee with a game from Housemarque is quality gameplay.
Yeah.
It's about speed. It's about it being like frantic and just over the top, and so much is happening, and the engine always holds out well on those games.
Okay.
It's usually a dual stick. They usually make like arcade dual stick shooters, but they did say that arcade games are dead and it was time to go big. And it looks like this is the game that they're doing to go big. They put other projects on hold to all focus their teams on this one game. And anything with space, you've already got a minimum 4 from me.
Yeah.
But the fact that this had a really cool, interesting Edge of Tomorrow time loop, the trailer was amazing. It's everything you want in a trailer for that, and they had snippets of gameplay in there, and it, even though it was that alpha stage gameplay, it looked stunning already. And I know what Housemarque are capable of. I really liked it, so for that, I'm gonna give it a 6. And I just want listeners to think, why only that? 6 is classed as good.
Yeah.
5 is average, normal. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. 5 is okay, 6 is good, and then everything goes up. So it was good for me. So 6.
Yeah. I think it will be getting a 6 for me. I was just looking at the different games that I've done before. Metaphor. I mean, Alien Nation. Super Stardust Delta. I mean, these ones.
Resogun is the big one that came out, and it was so good, and it was such a quality tech demo for PS4 that Sony bought it to go PlayStation Plus on launch for PS4. And the particle effects, dude. Oh my goodness. Actually, Resogun was the highest rated launch game across both PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was the highest rated in terms of Metacritic review scores.
Nice. Okay. Well, hats off to them, man. But yeah, it gets a 6 for me. I like the concept of it. I love the particle physics. I mean, there's that one scene when she's just unloading a whole load of lasers at some, I don't know, wet type of object, some sludger, and it looked really good. It looked really good. So that's a 6 from both of us. Okay, and we're gonna look at the next one now, which is another edition from Sackboy. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. What are your thoughts on that one?
I like the fact that they're reusing Sackboy. I got scared for a second, thinking, "Oh fuck, not another Little Big Planet," when you already have Dreams. I like the fact that they've took Sackboy away from the whole creation game and created this sort of game, because again, it fills a demographic that you need to cater to at Christmas time for parents. Which is great, because I know my kids can play Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and that was the big thing. Like, it looked fine. It looked like a high quality PS4 game for me. But then I saw the co-op, the 2 and the 4 gameplay, but then nothing was restricted. There was the same amount of enemies. It was running at the same frame rate. Nothing was texture popping. I thought, okay, this is a quality piece of tech, So it was really good. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, it looked really good. Yeah, visually it looked good. It looked like it reminded me a lot of Yoshi's Craft World. It looked really good. It looked like a completely deluxe version of that. And the fact is that they got the multiplayer aspect as well. It's kind of like Mario Party. I mean, Sony's definitely taken a lot of great notes from Nintendo's handbook. But yeah, it's definitely great for the type of audience that they're going to go for. Don't just go for the mature players. Go for the family market, and that's always a winner. So for me, I think Sackboy was a really good platformer. For that, I will probably give it. I'll probably give it 5. I'll give it 5 for me. I'll give it 5. It looked visually great, but it's just Sackboy. You know what I mean? How about you?
I'm gonna give it a 6. I thought it was good, and that was mainly down to just the way it was running with the co-op. And the customization options it had, and it briefly showed, it means that kids can just go crazy, and people can go crazy on this game and have a bit of fun. And we kind of need that sometimes, is that distraction of that, just pick up and play a game. And this game will be huge if it's like $39.99.
Definitely.
If it's not the full price game, it's going to be massive, especially if they just bundle them in. So
they probably will. I think they will, man. We're going to see some special editions with this.
I can imagine that special edition Sackboy with a zip on there and everything. But okay, so we move on to Destruction All Stars, and this is a weird one for me, because I actually thought it was pretty cool what I was seeing, because it was just over the top crazy. You know,
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
nothing else like it. Sorry, guys, I got the hiccups. I'm drinking a massive Copperberg,
It's all right,
and
man.
it's really affecting me. But yeah, I like the look of the game because it's a
Yeah,
pick up and play. It's
yeah,
fun. You could be like, right, I need a quick multiplayer. I know this sort of game. It's like Destruction Derby on the PlayStation 1. It's like Midnight Club on
yeah,
PS2. It's like, you know, the Need for Speed games and stuff on PS3. You know, you get it's like a quick round of Mario Kart, but obviously, this is obviously a bit more realistic to a
yeah,
certain
yeah.
extent. But
To a certain extent, yeah,
again, you could see the next gen look of it, the particle effects, the fact that you can get out the car and run around the map and try and get into another car or get on top of another car. You know, that
yeah,
shit would need loading on
yeah,
PS4 and stuff. So the fact that it was running like that, the physics on the cars and the breakability of the body parts and everything, and obviously the damage, it looked really cool. And again, as I
yeah.
mentioned, I think it would be a pretty decent multiplayer game. You know,
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Definitely be a
we'll
lot of
see how
fun.
many people can play in there. If it was super super cheap, or eventually it'll be on PlayStation Plus, I'll probably pick it
Yeah.
up and blast around. It reminds me of Rocket League. Do you remember Rocket League came out? Yeah,
Yeah, I
obviously it's
would
not
say
going to be
that.
as big as Rocket League, but Rocket League had a key
You
thing:
never know.
playability. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it did. I mean, it was insane, wasn't it? I mean, you're just pushing around a massive ball, pretty much playing football with, with cars. But yeah, to me, Destruction All Stars look like Rocket League meets Mario, and they both just fell in love with Fortnite, and then they had a burnout type of baby. And then Destruction All Stars was like a result of all of that. I think it's a great mishmash of all those different genres, all those different unique, quirky type of pick up and play arcade games. Definitely great for multiplayer, and I think it's needed as well. You know what I mean? There's a lot of racing games. I mean, I guess Rocket League kind of broke the conventions a bit. You know what I mean? By everybody's using, trying to get the balls into the net. With cars, the fact that you're able to lead the vehicles as well and just go out and like a shoot 'em up, kind of like Fortnite, is a nice little touch. So it's kind of like, yeah, if Fortnite had cars, I guess you'd have a game like this. You know what I mean? So be interesting to see. Be interesting to see how
okay.
popular it actually gets. But yeah. So what would you give it?
Uh,
What about you asking me?
I'm gonna give it a 5,
All right,
just
cool.
because it's okay. I just
Yeah,
want to see more detail, how many cars can be in the map, and this and that. And I think if they showed that, it would have probably even gone up to a 7 for me, just to see
yeah,
how many cars can you put on the map. Like
yeah,
it's got to be a lot. What was yours?
yeah. I would have given it a 6. Yeah, yeah, definitely a 6. Yeah, same reasons. I'd like to see a bit more. I'd like to actually play the game as well. Be interesting to see where they go with it. But it just seemed like a nice filler. You know what I mean? Like a stuck and filler, not really an epic game that you're going to go for. But it'd be interesting to see. It's a nice, unique concept.
Okay, moving on to can I just do a highlight here? So before this next game was shown, two
Yeah.
brothers came up to
Hmm.
talk about how they had their own studio. I really, really loved the fact that they
Hmm.
got developers involved and
Yeah.
creators involved, and even though like we'll talk about it after, but I just like the high like quality value of it. It looked
Yeah.
like high budget, but the next game
It
was
did.
from Ember Labs, which was Kenya Bridge of Spirits.
Kenna, I think it's Kenna.
Kenna. Sorry, what did I say? Kenya.
You called it Kenya. I was calling it Keena, but then I
Kenya.
heard them in the trailer. They were saying Kenna, and it's like, okay, cool. That's how you say it.
So
So
Kenna Bridge of Spirits
you're
was
okay, right?
next.
Yeah,
Looked lush, looked absolutely beautiful.
yeah,
Looked like a Disney Pixar short, didn't it?
yeah. It did. It did. It reminded me a lot of the Breath of the Wild. If that had the biggest budget and engine capacity ever, that's what you'd get. I mean, Zelda itself is you playing Link, you're not actually playing Zelda. Zelda's actually the person that you save. This actually seemed like they've actually gone for that that angle. So let's just make sure that you actually play the main protagonist. But it looks very similar. It's got the same type of accents, but it looks gorgeous. It looks absolutely amazing. I mean, it's very complex. I mean, even with the changing of environments, you got the
Oh,
weather,
you
you got
said
the
it. I was saying that's what I was
yeah,
going to bring up. The speed
yeah.
the
It's like
SSD had.
yeah, oh my gosh. I mean, the way that it happens just so seamlessly as well. And we're only seeing glimpses of it. I really like games like this. I really can't wait to see exactly how it's really going to push the games because obviously these are massive open world games. You've got multiple things happening at a time. And this is when you're really going to see what's actually capable from the system. So,
Definitely. And
yeah,
this is what, if we throw back all the way to when you hear me talk about what games have I played this week, and I talk about Those Who Remain or Deliver Us the Moon. They're smaller games, but they're quality. The
Yeah.
fact that Deliver Us the Moon is my game of the year until Friday, because then The Last of Us is out, and that will change. But it's just these sort of games that are just like, I'm gonna try this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as we said, they filled every genre. And that scene when she does the magic trick or she casts a spell, and the whole world instantly turns to color.
Yeah,
No loading, no
Nice
frame rate,
colour.
just done.
Yeah, really nice. And it seemed like, that was just all part of in game as well.
Mm.
Yeah, looks really good.
And I
really
think the good thing is if they utilize the adaptive triggers for her bow and arrow, I think that would really add more into the game as well, won't it?
Really be good. Yeah, that'd really be good. I guess, I mean, all these games that we're talking about, folks, I mean, that's just going to be just the base level. We're only look at the visuals, but when you are able to actually feel the games, the texture of these games even, that's going to be interesting to see how they're actually going to bring... They're literally evolving games, aren't they? I mean, Nintendo introduced it with the haptic feedback, but it's only PlayStation 5 is really going to push it to its nth degree to show you what you can truly do with this tech. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly what this is going to come out with. But yeah, man, it's up there for me.
I'm going to give it 8. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
So I'm giving Kenna Bridge of Spirits a solid 8.
Solid 8. I was going to give it 7.5. Yeah, man.
Oh, mate, you and your 0.5s, man.
It's good though, man. It's solid, and I do like you said about the developers as well. I like that touch. The nice little introduction, and it was, you can actually see the real passion. With all the developers. So
and it's also a timed exclusive on PS5.
Ooh, timed exclusive. Okay.
What I'll do is, instead of me searching, at the end when we get to the list, I will run through. Not the first party, because we know the first party is exclusive, but I'll run through the third party games and tell you what they are to PlayStation, if there is a benefit to it, because there's quite a lot, mate, an absolute bunch of them. Okay, so we move on to Goodbye Volcano High. Bro, it was just a trailer, it was a cartoon. This is my lowest rated because I didn't see fuck all to do with the game itself, so it's a solid 1 for me. No disrespect, that would change, but I need to see gameplay. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Is it an independent game? Is it a morally choice-based game? Is it a story narrative-driven game? Is it a fucking RPG? What is it?
It's a freaking mystery. It's the game that would pretty much be... I think it would be overlooked, but it could actually turn out to be pretty good.
It will be probably great when it comes out. But
but right now,
sorry if I'm pissing anyone off who's listening. We are reviewing based on what we thought and what we saw. And what I saw was a Japanese... it interested me because it's like a Japanese anime with things like... I don't know, I feel like... Are they going to set this before the meteor hits? Is this what the world is going to... Is it set like when they...
Oh, all right,
you know what I mean? Before the meteor hits and kills the dinosaurs? Because it looked like it was all dinosaurs. That will be interesting. But from what I saw on this reveal event, it's a 1 for me.
It's a 1. Okay, yeah. I mean, it had like Pokemon anime. Really, it wasn't really that detailed. It's not like you're looking at like the likes of Naruto or Dragon Ball Z. So the visual side of the anime just looked all right to me. But yeah, I guess it's gonna be one of those story-driven games, mainly for the maybe female market, maybe. But I don't think it really showcased what the PlayStation was capable of. But the fact that they're actually trying to, branch into different genres, as well as giving a spotlight to some independent developers. So. For me, it was all right. I want to see more. I want to see gameplay. I mean, it just looked like a whole...
So what's your rating?
I would give that a solid 2.
2. All right.
A solid 2 for Dookie. Yeah,
okay, and then moving on to a highly anticipated game for many people, because it was shown to media last year in a really early form. But it's obviously the big brand new game. It's the game they've always wanted to make, as they said. Oddworld Soulstorm, mate, from Oddworld Inhabitants. What was your thoughts on that? This game looked like it was taking the GPU and the CPU and having to juggle with it. So much was going on screen at one time. I was like, what the fuck? I don't even know where to look.
Yeah, it did look insane. I think the art style as well. I mean, for me, there's some scenes that look really good. There's some scenes that didn't look like they were rendered as well as they could have been. But overall, it seemed like Abe's Odyssey felt like, the Oddworld theme. You got that. It'd be interesting to see exactly how they're going to be using all the tech at its arsenal now. I mean, once you've hypnotized all your lemmings, you know what I mean? It's just they're just going to be throwing the whole horsepower at the thing. So I'm interested to see exactly what they're going to do with it. So that's what I can throw.
Excellent. Yeah, visually it looked great as well. Like you said, I just think they were using assets that were ready and weren't ready. But fair play to them. They showed it. They could have just left it at the trailer, but Sony were adamant for gameplay. So what was your thoughts? What was your rating, on Oddworld then?
Rating on Oddworld, I'm going to give that a 5. I'll give it 5. I do like Oddworld, so yeah, I'll give it 5. How about you?
Same. It was okay. I'll give it a 5 on that one. And then we move on to a hotly anticipated game.
Okay, and next we have Ghostwire Tokyo from Bethesda, which looked like a really crazy Japanese nightmare.
It's Shinji Mikami, mate. What do you expect?
Yeah, no, you're right. He's been tripping on a bit of the old acid and decided to make a game of it. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at a first-player FPS, but with the telekinesis skills. It just looked like a type of game that you don't really want to play that game alone. I guess it's like the likes of Resident Evil 7 VR. This doesn't seem any different. You know what I mean? You've got that crazy Japanese twist in terms of how they approach horror and the shock factor. The visuals look good. I like semi shell shaded. Very weird. I don't even know how to categorize these things. I mean, you've got a person made of boxes, like cardboard boxes. How do you categorize that? What are your thoughts on it, man?
Just 1 second. Sorry, you're doing that. I'm looking at a different game. I was looking at Jett The Far Shore, but do you know what? I was really happy that this game was on show because you want new things. From a new generation, and Tango Gameworks, which is Shinji Mikami's studio, he's famous for Resident Evil 4, but I love the Evil Within games. I would have been super happy for Evil Within 3, but I already have Resident Evil, and other games like that. So the fact that this is set in Japan, right, or Hong Kong or something like that, right, in that sort of setting, but it has that comic book realism look to it. It's a sci-fi horror game. You don't get that often. And it freaked me out seeing some of the headless things and stuff like that. I was like, this game...
Weird. Very weird. But I'm intrigued. I do want to play it. And I do like the way that it was all first person. It kind of made me think...
Dude, that's the thing.
Would this be in VR? Could this be a VR game?
It could be, mate. It could be. You know what I mean?
I liked it.
But it was just, like you said... We talked about it last week. This looked like Superhot moving. You know what I mean? Like if Superhot had telekinesis and stuff like that. The way he's moving and shooting and that. I was proper intrigued in it, and I was really, really impressed with Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, cool. So, all right then. So, what would you give it out of 10? 7. Yep. Yeah, that matches me with the 7, definitely, man. All right then. So the next game we're going to get onto is Jett The Far Shore. I don't know why or how they're coming up with some of these titles, but that's the name of it. And what do you think, man?
This was the game. Yeah, this was the game I was actually thinking. Because I was getting mixed up with this and Solar Ash. But so Jett The Far Shore, you didn't really see much of it, but there was a tiny snippet of gameplay in the trailer, and it looked insane. It looked like a small ship flying over this gigantic sea of waves. And it reminded me of the scene in Interstellar when they go on the planet and the big wave is there. And it's weird because when he lands, it looks like it's a prehistoric or caveman-like setting. Mm-hmm. But it's a space game. It's set around tech and space, and I think it is going to be about going onto different planets and stuff. I wish they had highlighted that more, because then I would have been so much higher for this game. But I liked the look of it because again, it's a space game. It looked completely opposite and different to the other space game we saw. It looks
Yeah.
different and opposite to that. But if it is what I think it is, which is planet hopping and you're discovering and you're looking
Yeah,
for
discovering.
something, and
Yeah,
it looks like what I saw in that snippet of gameplay, I'm really excited for it. But they
yeah,
didn't show that, and that obviously comes onto my rating. But I am excited for
yeah.
this game.
Cool. Yeah. What was it? Was it No Man's Sky? Was it
Mm.
similar to? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but I
it's
think
that. I
with No
think.
Man's Sky it was shit when it first came out, and now it's
Yeah.
really, really good because they've
Yeah.
worked on it, they've patched it
They've
and
worked on it.
everything. But
Yeah.
the problem with it is, doesn't really have a strong reason to hook you as a single player.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas this kind of looks like it does, like there is a proper story to it. It's not trying to compete with a No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
But again, if it's something like an adventure game and it's in space and it looks like that
Mm.
and it plays differently to other things, then I'm intrigued.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all about innovation. I think that's what's good about this whole showcase, really. They're showing just different ideas from everyone. It's not like they're going for the same cookie cutter approach. Let's just see what works. We've got a
Mm.
whole lot of power now, and it's going to be the developers round now, isn't it? They're going to be held back, as we've mentioned on previous episodes. There is just no limits now. You know what I mean? They can just create whatever the hell they want. So we're going to see some games which are going to be highly demanding. We're going to see some games which aren't, and I guess that's where creativity lies. The fact that you're not limited by anything, you can just create what you want now. So it doesn't all have to be 10 out of 10 graphics and audio. It can just be a great, innovative story and idea. And I think
Mm.
that's what this one is. So, yeah. So, what would you give it out of 10 then?
I'm gonna give it 6 just because I didn't see enough. So I thought it
Yeah,
was good. It could have been so. Again, this is one of those games that if I saw more, it would have
yeah,
given me a much higher rating. But 6 because I
yeah.
thought it looked good.
6. Okay. And I'm going to give it a 5. Give it a 5. Again, didn't really see too much of it. And yeah, I don't. They didn't really highlight the fact that it was going to be pure gameplay, but there were a few videos in this thing. But yeah, so I'll give it a 5. Next, we're going on to Godfall. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
It's weird. I know they've called it a looter slasher, so
Yeah,
it is like Destiny with swords and stuff.
yeah,
And I felt like everything up until this event, it looked very nerdy and geeky and
yeah,
World of Warcrafty to
yeah,
me,
yeah,
fantasy based. And then
yeah,
this trailer confused me more with the hip hop music.
yeah,
I get it, you're
yeah. They
showing
do
the
it.
combat, but
Yeah,
and that's what they were showing was the whole idea was showing you the fluidity of the combat, not anything to do with the story. But
yeah.
I don't know, it confused me more than intrigued me.
Yeah, I think it was a. I'm not really a fan of these types of games, but it does look like it reminded me of like games like Warface. Just that type of, just the accents. You know what I mean, the
Mm.
tonality of it all. But with obviously with more fantasy-based weapons. But yeah, visually, if anything, this was a nice showcase of what we could expect to see. The level designs and the character designs look really good. Well rendered. But again. Um, when you see more, you know what I mean, a bit of story maybe would have just kind of helped sell this game a bit better. It
Mm.
just felt like it was just going to be I don't know, a freemium game, you know what I mean, that you just pick up and then just start throwing a whole lot of
I wouldn't be
time and effort
surprised.
to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's free to play.
Yeah,
Right off the bat,
yeah,
like with PlayStation Plus or something like Warframe
yeah,
is. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Cool. All right then. So yeah, quickly ratings for that then.
4.
Give it a 4. I'm gonna
That's
give it a
average. So
yeah,
average.
yeah, that is an average. I'm gonna give it a 5 just for the graphics, man. I think they were nice. They were nice.
Mm.
Okay, cool. So next we're going to go on to Solar Ash.
Mm. Excellent.
Uh,
I liked
just
it. It
give me two
was
seconds. There we go.
sort it out. You know,
Yeah,
at first I was like, "Oh, here we go, another one of those goodbye Volcano High games."
yeah.
Um, but something really intrigued me at the end, and it was the way she went upside down on the map,
All right, yeah,
and then it finished, and I was like, "Oh, what? You can't just leave it
yeah,
like that," like.
yeah,
And I wanted to know more about the game.
yeah.
And I did go into some, like, developer interviews and stuff,
Okay,
and they are utilizing the SSD to create like this huge, fantastic, immersive world, and they're using the adaptive triggers and everything. They're using the full
Oh,
tool
really?
set with the
Oh, nice.
PlayStation. So this game really, really, really is exciting me. But on the actual event itself, it stopped just as I was getting to the point.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
think I
what
did
did you
like that
think?
as well. As soon as it started to skew, just at the very end, I thought that's when it just started getting a bit interesting, saying, "Oh, okay, so it's not just a standard platformer that's with really weird graphics and IPs. It just looks like it's just going to be a very interesting game, kind of similar to I can't remember one of the games that I played at yours one time. It's just pretty
Gravity
much just
Rush.
you. Yeah, yeah. Like Gravity Rush. Now there's another one when you're in the middle of nowhere, and you have to get to just a location. There's
Oh,
no
Journey.
audio
Journey.
journey. Yeah, yeah. It kind of felt like that initially, but this one just seems a lot more exciting. It seems like there's going to be a lot more things to do in this one. But all right then. Yeah. So overall, man, what did you give it?
4. It was okay. I just didn't see enough. It stopped when it got interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was it. Well, they would have got a 5 from me, but yeah, it's going to be a 4, a nice solid 4. I shouldn't be ashamed of that 4.
And then we move on to established franchise. Hitman 3, Agent 47 is back. Your thoughts on they're actually dropping the games for service like system and they're just going for a full blown single player game with Hitman
Yeah,
3, narrative driven. Your thoughts on
yeah,
Hitman 3? Because they showed a trailer and again, they took the piss out of the competition. They said, oh, let's show you gameplay. And they showed a
that's
very,
true.
very brief bit of
Yeah,
gameplay. Your thoughts?
yeah. I thought this looked great. I mean, it looked very tense. It looked like it's going to be a very I guess, upgraded version of what we've come to know about and love about Hitman. It's just going to be interesting to see how they're going to embrace that into the PS5 horsepower, and the types of worlds, the types of missions that he's going to be able to now do. Are we going to see a multiplayer aspect of this? You know, it's just there's just so many different possibilities. So I'm interested to see exactly what they're going to do. And the fact that they've called it Hitman 3 as well, it's not just going to be another spin-off. You know, it's going to be core to the storyline that I'm actually looking forward to. So, and obviously the visuals, what can I say? I mean, it's second to none. They look really good. They look
Yeah, it
really
looked
nice.
nice. I think the thing that dwelled me straight away is I thought, oh, this is coming to current gen as well. So, because the last Hitman did the
Yeah,
same thing. So
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
right, we're only going to see minor upgrades unless they go
Mhm.
all out. You know, they won't really utilize it. But it was an exciting trailer, a great have. You know,
Mhm.
because there are many Hitman fans out there, and to have the unveiling of Hitman 3 is a big, big thing. You know,
Yeah,
it did excite me because I like the Hitman games. Again, they're different. They're tactically thinking. They're like Metal Gear on steads. You cannot be caught. There's so many different ways you can take out your target. It's ridiculous, and you can play the game different, like 11 different ways. You know, there's so
yeah,
many
yeah.
different ways to kill it, and the fact that it's gone. The big thing for me is that it went vertical. A lot of Hitman games are flat or 2 story, 3 story. This has gone to Dubai skyscrapers, so it
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
really
yeah.
good,
So,
you know. And
right,
there
well,
was some snippets of the gameplay where he's overlooking the balcony and it looked amazing. It was just
yeah,
like, wow, this looks
too
good.
nice.
But
Yeah,
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 it
yeah.
was exciting.
It is exciting.
I think for me,
Mhm.
I'd give it a 6. I thought it was
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I
About
just thought
6
there
for
was
me.
again. I felt like I was looking a little bit at a half step to next gen,
Yeah,
if you know what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely that bridge. And this would be cross-platform as well, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
So, but yeah, 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 man. Yeah,
So
nice.
yours is a 6, yeah?
6, 6. Yeah, yeah. Solid 6.
All right, mate. And the next one is the
Boom.
one I'm excited about because it's preloaded and it's free for everybody on
Yeah,
PlayStation 5. And it's not going to be like a full blown massive game. It's just going to be like a technical showpiece to show you what the machine can do, specifically the
yeah,
controller. And that's
yeah.
Astrobot Playroom, Astro's Playroom.
Yep.
Um, there's something similar on PS4 already for that.
Is
But
it?
this is really going to F around with the pad and
Yeah.
let you see. Do you remember back on? It was either yeah, I think it was the launch of PS4. Astrobot
Mm.
would jump into the controller.
Right.
Remember? And it
No.
would sound like he's in your controller and he was moving from side to
Yes,
side on
sorry.
it.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do remember that. I
Now
think, yeah,
imagine
this,
this or
yeah,
with the PS5 DualSense controller. Like
yeah.
it's going to be amazing. Your thoughts
It
on?
looks like,
We had
yeah.
Sackboy and now we got Astro as well.
Yeah, this one out of the two, I'm definitely looking forward to. I mean, I like what they did with the VR edition of just Astrobot. I thought that was really unique, and I like the way that they pretty much was setting the foundations of what a VR platformer could look like.
Mm.
And then we saw it with Floss as well, which they kind of just took it for another leap forward. But with this one, I mean, let me just throw in there, just before this trailer was played, did you remember seeing a bit of the UI?
Oh, I
You
was
saw
going
a
to get. I'll
little
get into that in
snippet.
the end. It was a
There you
dick
go.
tease,
Okay.
absolute dick tease.
That was a proper one. But yeah, I think with this one being a game which they're going to be just which is going to be pre-installed, just showcasing what the system can do, just kind of like with the Wii had with the Wii Sports. I think it's a great game to introduce to people and to also be another one which they can just attached right next to the sales figures of the PlayStation 5. So every single unit that goes out there, this is going to be classed as a game sale, right? So and I think it's a great way for Astrobot to become a household name because I think it's definitely time now. I mean, we've had
Mhm.
Mario for the longest time. Sonic's kind of retired. It wasn't until the film kind of revitalized him. But I think with from the Sony camp, definitely a game like this would be a great feature for them. And it looks like a PS5 as well. He looks like a PS5. So visually looks great, and I can't wait to see what they do with the haptic feedback.
So your rating for Astrobot?
Yeah, it's
Astros
up
Playroom.
there. Yeah, it's up there. I'm going to give that a 7.5. Yeah, 7.5, maybe even 8.
Okay, I'm going with the
Yeah,
8 because I'm sick of your
yeah,
halves.
go for the 8. Yeah, go with the 8. Because they,
I'm gonna give it 8 as well. I'm
yeah,
gonna match you on that. I thought it was great, so it gets an 8 on that
cool.
one. Then we move to the next game, which impressed us both, especially when we watched it in 4K, and that's
Hmm.
Little Devil Inside.
Devil
Your
Inside. But
thoughts?
look, yeah, it looks. I just want to play the game. Visually, it just looks strange. I mean, but it looks very familiar at the same time. I mean, you got that kind of cel-shaded visuals, but the way it's animated, it looks like it's fully CG. So
Mm.
it's got a nice combination of very subtle graphics with high octane action, and then it has those really quiet Wes Anderson film type moments. It's just
Mm.
really somber. When they cut back to like the village and stuff. But I think it's definitely a game to look out for. And to me, definitely, I'm definitely going to be picking up as soon as it gets released. I mean, did we get a release date for this one?
Nope.
No release date. Okay.
No release
Keep
date.
the trend.
But yeah, I mean, I said the same thing on the night as well. It looked very Tim
Yeah.
Burton-esque as well in terms of the
Yes. Yeah.
models and stuff, and it had a bit of Alice in Wonderland weirdness with the big cat in there
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, really looking forward to this one. I give this one an 8 as well. What was your thoughts?
That definitely gets an 8 for me. Definitely an 8 for me. I mean, the action scenes as well. When it's going against, and then you got the big monsters and the set pieces, and just the weird tonality of it all. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a game to look out for.
Mm.
Definitely a game to look out for. So yeah, it gets an 8 from me.
Okay, a game that blew your mind. Well, a tech piece that blew your mind, and that's NBA 2K21.
All right.
It's only again, it's just the introduction and then showing the animations and the character and the sweat. Or it was either sweat or he just walked out the shower. It was one or the other.
It's one or
But
the other.
your thoughts on the NBA 2K21 tech?
My thoughts on the NBA trip, which is, I guess, the same as most people. We didn't really see much of the gameplay besides the sweat. I mean, we saw really great graphics and we saw some sweat. We saw some great motion capture, and then there was sweat, and then we saw him dunk the ball in, and then it was just topped off with sweat. So it just seems like that's all they were really showcasing was just the sweat beads, and the fact is that they've got like brand new sweat bead graphics. But I guess it's going to be like the traditional NBA, gameplay, very slick, very smooth. We're going to be looking at 60 frames. We could only assume that this is what we're going to be looking at. But yeah, it looked great. It looked really detailed. I mean, you could see like just the little dimples in the skin as well. I mean, I love all that, and the eyes as well is a key thing that I like to see animators work on. And this one looks like they're actually working on that, so you can actually see some realism there. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the actual gameplay. When you've got like 10 people on the court, and then you've got they've got the crowd as well. It's going to be interesting to see even for people up in the bleachers. You know what I mean? Like, what are they doing? Are they just going to be doing the same thing as other crowd members? But all these things, only time will tell. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. How about you?
You said it all, really. It was such a short piece, but it was very,
Yeah,
very impressive. And NBA 2K games are visually stunning, so it can be
yeah.
backed up. So, what do you rate it out of 10?
I'm going to give it a 7. Give it a
So
7. Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
give it a
7. Even though it looks amazing.
I'm gonna give it a
Yeah.
6, just because
Okay.
again it was good. It
Yeah.
just didn't show me enough. You know, it'd
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
good to see something else, or whether it be the stadium, or the arena, or the court, something else besides just the
Yeah.
character model.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we'll move
Yeah.
on from there.
Okay, okay, and we're on to one of the best games in the showcase. I'm sure all of you would agree it was Bugsnax. I'm sure everyone's heard the rumors that this game is going to be showcased. But seriously, folks, what the fuck is this game about, really? It starts off with a strawberry on the run, you know, meeting up with his other strawberries, and then they just do some other crazy stuff and eventually get eaten by an Australian something. Um, I'm not really looking forward to this game, to be honest, man. I think it's just one of those nice, quirky respites for the presentation. You know, just show something which is completely left field. But you know, who knows? It could be as good as the Untitled Duck Sims. You know what I mean? So you know, only time will tell. But it looked like it was graphically kind of looked like a N64, maybe PlayStation 2 type graphics. You know what I mean? It wasn't that great. It wasn't really showcasing what the PlayStation 5 could do, maybe what the PlayStation 2 could do, to be honest. But in 4K. But yeah, that's what it gets from me. How about you?
It's made by the creators of Octodad, and Octodad is all about physics and just having a
Okay.
weird game. But people were like not obsessed. They were addicted to the gameplay, really, and the loop of it.
Mm,
And I feel like you'll get the same thing with this game when it eventually comes out.
yeah,
And again, this is what you just need, some just crazy, weird, not the same stuff to talk about. There's always something weird. People
yeah.
been telling me in the industry they can't get the song out of their head. I was like, so the
Yeah,
trailer
yeah.
worked then, really? That's
It
what
did,
you're
yeah.
saying. The trailer worked. But yeah, I mean, it didn't show enough. It showed a bit of the levels and stuff, but they didn't show actual, like, real, like, the source of gameplay of what it can be. They must be
No.
keeping that for another time
Yeah,
on that front.
definitely, definitely. So I'm just gonna just throw it out there. I'll give that like a nice 3 because I haven't given one out there. So for you,
Same. I'll
but
give
it
it a
could be.
3.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll give it
3.
a 3.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So now on to another small game by a small independent company called Blue Point. Not sure if many of you have heard them. And the much rumored game that we all kind of hoped or expected to be here, and it was Demon Souls. Your thoughts, mate?
Oh, I was wanting Metal Gear, mate. We talked about how everyone kept asking every week, what do you think Blue Point are making? I was like, Metal Gear or Resistance Trilogy, but I said all the time, it's going to be Demon Souls, you know. And
Yeah,
again, a huge get for PlayStation because you've seen
yeah,
how big Bloodborne was, you see how big the Dark Souls games are,
mm,
Sekiro as well. These guys, these sort of games are massive. So the fact that Blue Point are redoing the original and in-game shots have come out side by side, and the game just looks stupid, stunning.
yeah,
Like this
yeah,
was next-gen visuals on show. This was unbelievable,
yeah,
and I love the fact that it had Shuhei. Like this game, I'm really looking forward to. You know, and he was excited about it, and then they showed it. I was like, oh, what a touch! But the
yeah.
game looks
Yeah.
stunning. You know, definitely
It
one of
does look.
the
It
probably
does
one
look
of
stunning.
the if I think only one game looked better than it visually. You know, that's how good this game looked.
Yeah, it did look really good. I mean, even like the smoke effects, the particle effects, it looked really good. Sorry, I just heard some really strange stuff outside the window. But yeah. I'm really interested to see exactly what's actually in game and what's actually just pre-rendered, but it did look really good. And obviously, Demon Souls is classic, but it just looks like this is definitely going to be one of those showpieces that just sets the PlayStation 5 on light in terms of its hardware. If there was ever a game to even make the fans were like crazy, it would be a game like this. But obviously, we know that's not going to be the case because they've already handled the cooling, as you can see with the massive vents on the system. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing to playing this game actually and see if they're actually going to be utilizing the haptic feedback as well. Um, for the game as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Mm.
What more can I say on that one? But yeah, for me, actually for you, what would you rate it? What
I'm
would
gonna
you
give
give
it
it
an
out of 10?
8. I'm gonna give it an 8
Yeah,
just because they showed snippets of gameplay, but the key thing that they showed is they showed key points from the original Demon Souls game,
yeah,
but showed the next, obviously it running and looking new on this, and it looked unbelievable, man. Like it
yeah,
was really, really good. So 8 for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, cool. And it'll give it 8 for me. Giving it
8.
definitely an 8 for me. Even though yeah, I would have been happy with Metal Gear Solid, but anyway, you know what I mean. It's just the early days. It's the early days. Okay, and next we're on to Deathloop from Bethesda. Now, this game to me just stood out like crazy, man. I mean, again, it just looked like great FPS, first-person shooter. It kind of looked like a mix between if Edge of Tomorrow, that classic game 13, that comic book shoot 'em up game, Control, and Quentin Tarantino. If they all had a massive orgy, this would be the game that they would have come out with.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. What are your thoughts there, man?
You said it all, mate. It looked great.
Yeah,
A proper
yeah,
all-out action game, great narrative, great story, great gameplay, loads of different options of gameplay, um, and it didn't take itself too seriously. This
no,
was literally the Hateful Eight game. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It
yeah,
looked
yeah,
like the
yeah.
way Samuel L. Jackson's character is. That's this character,
With the,
and I
I
think
mean,
the
he
only
even seemed like Samuel L. Jackson. At the very end, when he says,
dude, the
"I'll
only
kill
way you
these
make this
fuckers."
game perfect is if
Yeah,
Samuel L. Jackson voiced him like the guy from
yeah,
Hateful
oh
Eight.
yeah, that would have been.
You
I'm
know,
sure they wanted it. I'm sure they definitely wanted it,
but I
man.
said to you on the night as well.
Mm.
I've played all the Dishonored games, and there's such
Yeah,
you could clock those games without killing anybody. And
right.
this game
Okay.
is going to have so many gameplay accessibility options. It's going to be
Yeah,
great, and it had such a unique feel to it.
yeah.
I'm going to jump the gun, bro, and give you a solid 9 for Deathloop.
Wow. Cool. Yeah, solid 9. I'll give it a solid 8. It's definitely going to get a solid 8 for me. I like the idea of it. I like the theme, the looks of it, and when if you throw telekinesis and telepathic powers into any game, that always does it for me anyway. But yeah, definitely, man. I'm looking forward to this.
Hmm.
All right then. So now we're on to a game which kind of took. I mean, I guess we kind of hoped we'd see something from it, but nobody expected how it was actually going to turn out. And it's called The Village, which ended up being Resident Evil 8. Now,
Hmm.
this looked freaky. This just looked like it kind of felt like they've gone back to the Resident Evil 4 roots, mixed with a bit of 7.
Hmm.
It's great. What do you think?
I think for somebody who I've played 7 all the way through
Yeah.
in VR. I played a bit of I've clocked Resident Evil 4 back in the day,
Yeah.
and the other Resident Evil games. I played a bit of Resident Evil 2 remake. It's taking the best of each
Mm,
bit. To
yeah.
truly scare the crap out of somebody, you need first person. First person is
Yeah.
just ultimately scarier than third person, right?
Yeah.
And this game just looked stunning. You
Yeah.
know, werewolves in there. But here's the interesting thing that gamers have figured out: the
Mm,
currency in the game that you see in the trailer is
yeah.
Romanian.
Right.
Transylvania is in Romania.
Mm. Oh,
You've got
nice. Yeah,
werewolves.
yeah.
What's to say that
Got
Dracula's not in
werewolves.
there?
Yeah, we haven't got vampires as
You
well.
never know.
Nice.
But
That's a
there's
nice
so many
touch.
things. But just from what we saw, it looked stunning. And the
Yeah.
thing is, the RE engine, which powered Resident Evil 7, can pull this off because Resident
Yeah.
Evil 7 looked amazing.
Yeah, it did.
So yeah,
Phenomenal. Yeah. I
highly
think
anticipated for this game.
yeah, I think yeah, I mean there was some parts which didn't look as red did that it could have been, but the parts that did look really good. I mean, there's like little snippets here and there. I mean, even the details onto the hands, you can see the veins and everything like that. I mean, I thought that looked really good, but it just looks like it's just going to be another scare fest, you know.
Hmm.
And I think in terms of storytelling, I mean, each Resident Evil has got better. I mean, I think 4 was like a major tipping point for them. 5 kind of paled in comparison, and then 6 kind of, they kind of lost it with 6, but then 7, yeah, kind of brought it back to form, and yeah, this looks like it's just going to be, leaping and bounds.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. First person as well. I think it's a really good touch to it, and that with the Tempest audio is going to be a game that's definitely going to shit you silly. So you're probably best to play it during the day, folks. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, Resident Evil Gate. What are you gonna give it?
You said it, 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, man. It gets a solid 8. Man. It gets an 8. All right, cool. So the next game we're gonna be looking at is Pragmata.
Yeah, this
Uh,
game looked weird. It looked very Death Stranding. The character
yeah,
did at first, but again, another game. It had some really cool, unique ideas. It looked totally strange. Like, what the hell is
yeah,
going on? Just didn't show me enough.
Yeah.
Just a snippet of gameplay, and I'd have been like, yeah, okay, or just a
Yeah.
little bit more of a story
Yeah.
based look at it. Then we would have been like, okay, this is interesting, but
Massive.
intrigued.
Yeah, definitely intrigued. I mean, from the type of suit that he has, and the fact that she was, you know, kind of instrumental in activating the suit, and
Mm.
she's like part cyborg or something. I mean, that looked really cool. And then the fact that, it ends with them on the moon, looking at the Earth, and the Earth looks slightly, dystopian. It just looks, yeah, it looks interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly what the game's about. But yeah, it didn't show me enough. But what I did see was very innovative. And yeah, it's definitely got my interest. Definitely got my interest. So yeah, thoughts for Pragmata.
6,
6,
just
6.
because I didn't see enough. So it's good, but it could have been so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
more.
It could have been more. Yeah, yeah. I'll probably give it a 7 because I like the idea of the tech. I love the tech in there, especially when that ship crashed into
Mm.
the spacesuit or one of the protagonists. I love that tech. I mean, that'd be something that some company
Well, dude,
should
it wasn't a
utilize.
ship; it was a satellite.
Oh yeah, satellite.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was, and it looked like it smashed through glass, like it was a simulation or something,
Ah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Truman Show style shit or something going on
yeah,
there.
yeah,
I was like, oh, this
yeah,
is. But that's what I said. It was so intriguing, but I didn't know enough about it. So,
yeah,
But yeah, definitely intrigued. But
yeah.
dude, that was the third space themed game we saw, and none of them look the same, which is what
Yeah, yeah,
excites
true.
me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like they've got this on lock, and it did look weird. It looked like the world's been taken over by. Yeah, it does look nuts, and the gravity scene as well. I mean, obviously we saw in Gravity Rush as well, the way they utilize gravity. This looks like they're going to be doing the same thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I'll give it a solid 7. I'll give it a solid 7. Okay, so on to the final game of the presentation, which was the one which a lot of people were hoping they would see, and it was Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. Take it away, mate.
Looked amazing, dude. Like everything anybody would have wanted to up this game. You could have just rested on your laurels, made it look prettier,
Yeah,
bigger, and left it at that. But what they did is they added a completely second world to the game, which is underwater, like
yeah,
Avatar.
yeah,
It had the flying mountains like Avatar. It had a new story. It had returning characters. It had
yeah,
amazing like mech monsters that just looked unbelievable. The
yeah,
gameplay, like again, you remember the snippets of gameplay from that. It's an open world game, and it looks like that.
yeah. It looked huge.
I
It
was
looked
just like,
absolutely
my jaw was
amazing.
wide open the whole way through, and
Yeah.
I got the platinum trophy in Horizon. I did absolutely everything there is to do in that game.
Yeah,
Um, I would have just been happy with a prettier version of that. I'm getting
yeah.
spoilt rotten right now. Do you know what I mean? That this is crazy levels
Yeah,
of anticipation for this game.
yeah, yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I didn't even get to play the first one, which I definitely will be. But this looked absolutely amazing. I mean, in terms of the fact that they left this to the end, it was just every bit as great as the presentation itself. It was brilliant building up to this one point. The visuals looked amazing. The way they composed the music, the audio as well, it just looked like this was like triple A, and not even triple A, just like quadruple A, quality of gaming.
Mm.
Um, Obviously the visual looked amazing. The world looked expansive. The fact is that you could just hear like the little things that you're saying, that you can pretty much go anywhere in the world. You go everywhere from the deserts of the Sahara all the way to San Francisco to the glaciers.
But
It looked
that's the one thing
so
about Horizon I want to say is it's very video gamey in a good
yeah,
way. So
mhm,
you could be walking in a desert and then slow bits of grass come and then all of a sudden you're in a green area. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? It was like that sort of game.
yeah,
This just had the same, and that was the thing, key thing. It had the same sort of look to it, and that's what made it so popular.
yeah,
People don't want the same sort of world. People don't want like hallways or hidden ways to load up the second bit. This just looked like it was
yeah.
all there because she could
Just
see it in
ready.
the
Yeah,
distance.
yeah,
The
yeah,
draw distance on this game was because if you just go back and watch a trailer, just look as far as you can.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
so
There's
good.
no
It looks
problem.
so
It does
good.
look really good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got clouded skies. I mean, you got like the grove as well. You got the animation of all the different assets as well. It looked really good. I was out of all the games, next to Spider-Man, this is the one that really just made me think
Now,
freaking
Al,
out.
this is Guerrilla. This is a first
Yeah,
party studio. Imagine playing
yeah,
this game with full
yeah,
use of 3D audio and the DualSense controller.
yeah. Definitely.
Because the
Gonna be
Wired
worth it.
article said that
Yeah.
he was demoed the adaptive triggers with a bow and arrow. Horizon
Oh
Zero,
shit.
Horizon Forbidden West bow and arrow,
Yeah.
it's that game he got to
Devastating.
try it with.
You got to try it. Oh, that's
Has to
brilliant.
be, has to be.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man, definitely. I'm looking forward to this game, and of all the games in the rest of the presentation, this one just like topped the bill for me.
Mm.
Yeah, what can I say, man? I was breathtaking. You know what I mean? Literally, it just looked great. It looked like this is the way, next generation console games need to look. And it seems like this is going to definitely set the bar. Yeah, as you can see, I'm speechless for this game, but definitely, this is probably my favorite game of the whole roster. How about you, man?
It's a 10 for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Straight up. I can't say
This is
anything
got
else. It was a 10 out of 10 for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This game definitely got the 10. I can't wait to play it, and when I do get the PS, this is definitely going to be the first game that I purchase if it's available. You know what I mean? On launch, which it probably won't. Actually, what was the release date on that one? Was there?
There wasn't. They didn't. They're being sly. You Sony don't give you it
Look
all
at
at once, do
that.
they?
Yeah, look at that, man. Freaking Sly Devils. But yeah,
Okay, so
cool.
before we move on to, we've been going on for ages, much longer than what we thought, but we knew this was an episode that was going to do that, right? Just to give you an update in terms of the third party games, then let's have a look. So, Bugsnax is a PlayStation console exclusive coming to PS5 and PS4.
Okay.
Little Devil Inside is a timed exclusive
Okay.
for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Solar Ash is a timed exclusive for PlayStation.
Right.
And Jett, the one we spoke about, is also
Yeah.
a timed exclusive. Then you
Okay.
have Ghostwire Tokyo,
Mm-hmm.
which is also a timed exclusive. Project
Yeah.
Athia is also console exclusive for a timed exclusive for PlayStation 5.
Time exclusive. Yeah. So
We're going there. GodFall is a console exclusive for a limited time on PS5. Deathloop is also a
yeah.
timed exclusive for PlayStation 5.
Time exclusive. Okay.
Kena, Bridge of
Kenna.
Spirits. Kena is again
Kenya.
another exclusive for a period of time. Oddworld as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
Stray as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Goodbye Volcano
Okay.
High as well. So almost
Yeah.
every third party game that was shown is some
Yeah.
sort of timed exclusive. That's big.
It's time exclusives. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Mm.
That's good. Definitely what they need to claw to capture the market. Definitely.
And you've got to remember, all these games, this is just the first wave. Sony have still got more to show. You've got to remember, there's more shows, there's more games. This is a mist of all the other cross-gen games that are going to come out that Microsoft are going to
Yeah.
show as well. So absolute ton of games that are going to be on there.
Yeah.
So going through the whole list, including
Yeah.
hardware, what was your top
Mhm.
3 moments of the show?
Top 3 moments
okay,
of the
we'll
show.
we'll go with each, yeah? So third,
Yeah. Go on.
second, and then first. Okay.
Okay.
So what was your
Yeah.
third favorite thing of the whole show? It could
My
be anything, dude. The look, the
My
theme, the
third
videos.
favorite of the show would be Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
My third favorite thing is the inclusion of the developers and the budget.
Okay.
Like, I just
Yeah.
love that feel of having the developers in there. It was just so cool, and the transitions, just the whole feel of the show. But the developer bits, I really like the fact that they put them in, because they didn't look like an Al Qaeda video, like inside Xbox. This looked,
Yeah,
dude, this looked like this looked like an E3 presentation. It felt like we were watching an E3 presentation, and
It did look like they've put some budget into it, definitely. And
mate,
the Xbox One did
Jim Ryan
have some
phoned up
budget
Sony
special.
Studios, Sony
Yeah.
Movie Studios. It's like, give us a hand.
Yeah, please.
You guys are not doing anything at the moment,
Yeah, it's
so
off the books. Yeah,
give us a hand. But yeah, so we got Spider-Man from you. We got the
Yep.
developers aside from me. What was your second favorite thing?
second favorite thing is what we've just seen, the Horizon Forbidden West. I thought that was absolutely brilliant, man. So that was the second for me. Brilliant visuals, and it's just basically setting the bar for um, first-person exploration games. It's just going to be. It's going to be a phenomenal when that finally comes out. It's probably going to be looking at what, maybe a 2021, 22
Definitely,
release,
no, I think
maybe.
it's definitely launch window. And I
Launch
also
window.
think
Really? Yeah,
it'll be out by spring, I think, and I
by
actually
spring.
think it won't come to PS4. I think it will just be PS5.
It has to. It has to.
Yeah,
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 yeah. Just let you leave the
and
PS4 behind.
that's my second as well. Was
Yeah,
Horizon. Yeah, yeah.
cool.
And your
Uh,
favorite
my
thing of the show?
first My favorite thing of the show is what I've been preaching for the past number of weeks, folks. You know this. I've been hoping that they were going to show their freaking console, and they did. So, and I was proud as hell to see exactly this console, how it's going to look, how they're actually going to be dissipating all the immense heat and processing power that they're going to have to get rid of somehow. And they did not disappoint, folks. It looked like something from Alienware, it looked like something from another planet. But it looks like something we can definitely handle the task. It looks to me better than the Xbox Series X, which just looked like they just forgot about the design, which is good to them. I guess they just wanted to make the main focus on the games, just have something which is just, just what it is, a fridge or a trash can looking thing.
Mm.
But I do think that the look of the PlayStation 5, the fact that it matched with the accents of the pad that we saw, a few months back. And the little details, just seeing the circle, the cross, the square, as you said, the triangle. Those little accents there were really nice touches, for the design. And it looked like something which, it shows, it's a testament to what Sony has managed to accomplish, over these 5 generations. And this just seems to be the pinnacle, which naturally it would be, but it truly is the pinnacle to what they've achieved, as well as introducing us to the next generation of um, game and entertainment. So, yeah, the console for me, just hats off to them. They smashed it. And the music as well. Love the music. Download it, Chirez. I'm sure it's on
I agree
Spotify.
with you, dude.
Yeah.
Hardware was number one for me, and I recommend everybody to do this. Go onto YouTube and type
Mm,
in PS5 hardware live reactions,
yeah.
and just go through the videos of people who recorded the live reaction to it. All the same. People who are big, people who are small, people who are black, brown, white, people who are male, people who are female, people who don't know what sex they are, people who were elaborate gamers in the media, people who were just watching it and recording themselves. The reactions are priceless.
Yeah.
Like their face, and it's when the digital one hits and they actually realize what they're looking at. It's the
Yeah.
it's like
Penny
that
drop
scene.
moment.
It's that scene from Friday when Ice Cube and Chris Tucker are sitting in a chair and they
Yeah.
both go, "Damn!" It's
Yeah.
like that. It's seriously PS5 hardware live reactions. Watch
Yeah.
that. Really, really good.
Yeah.
So finally, real fast, your just overall opinion on the show as a whole, the way Sony. So not the content, but how did Sony do for you?
How did Sony do? Well, Xbox really set the bar low, so I'm not even going to include them in the comparison. For me, I'm going to compare it with the launch of the Nintendo Switch, obviously, because that was for me obviously the latest innovative
Did
console
they
from
did
a
they do a direct for the Switch before launch?
They did do a
Oh,
direct,
I
yes,
didn't see it. So
and everybody's jumping on the Nintendo bandwagon. Forget the live shows; it doesn't really matter. Just do a nice direct and showcase what you can, without being bounded by time or anybody else. And I think they they did it very well when they did it with Hollywood level quality. Really, they started off with high energy, just just seducing us into okay, like the GTA, something familiar, and then like they just hit us over the head with Spiderman straight away. They gave us a plethora of games, from first party to third party, and ending with a quadruple A title in my eyes, before showing the unbelievable system.
hmm.
And then on top of that, they showed the digital edition only, which was a rocket launch to Microsoft's idea, and with Lockhart, as we mentioned earlier. So I think they played it very well. I mean, that was the best way to structure the presentation. If they'd moved any pieces around, you just would not have had the same impact. For example, if they put the console at the beginning and maybe showed Horizon at the beginning, you know what I mean? It would just been a bit lackluster. But the way they position the games and the variance of the games, it was brilliant. Really good. Definitely up there. So for me, I'll give the whole presentation a fucking 10.
Excellent.
Not 11, man. I was really impressed with it. Really impressed. How
And
about
I
you?
quote, Sir Alex Sylvester here.
Yep.
Microsoft have the advantage with the rumors of Project Lockhart, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sony have an ace up their sleeve and show you something next week. That's what you said on the episode. I was like, I was like, you said it, and I was like, I've got to go back and find it. You know what I mean? On the head, mate. Nail on the head. That's what I'm talking about, mate. You killed it. But
yeah, it's true. At least
everything, dude. They announced Lockhart before Microsoft did. They did. You said it as well a few episodes ago, where you said Sony just always take a swipe or steal the thunder. I said this to you last week. I said there was a question from somebody about Mark Cerny's. He was are Sony faltering? Are they doing the wrong things? Why are they giving Microsoft the advantage? And I said the answer to that is when they're ready to show the reveal, you won't remember Cerny's talk. Do you know what I mean? But if anything, Sony's talk complements that hardware reveal now, because that Cerny talk, when I was looking at that box, everything that Cerny said, I was like, that's in there.
It's all in there.
You know what I mean? It has to look futuristic because the tech is futuristic. It's not just about a big GPU or a CPU. It's about 3D Tempest audio. It's about SSD. It's all there. And I was just like, now, where do you stand? You could have been. I don't think anybody's gonna. If anybody messages me, Sony is still behind, I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna find you and slap you. And I think the best.
You ain't paying attention, yeah.
I think the best compliment that came was on IGN. They have a PlayStation side, Xbox side, and stuff. On the Xbox side, is run by a guy called Ryan McCaffrey. And IGN do this weekly show called IGN Console Watch, which is the head of PlayStation's department and Ryan talking about the hardware, but they're being really nice to each other when really they want to batter each other. But Ryan said it best. He was like, Sony have raised the bar and Microsoft need to bring their AAA game on July. But everything from this reveal, like you said, the budget was amazing. It didn't look like an Al Qaeda video. I'm happy it wasn't a State of Play, because State of Play, I think Sony have nailed it with the way they did The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. Focus on the game and go into detail on it, if you have to. This, I was thinking, okay, it's not going to be like Cerny, but it's going to be high budget. And this was Sony being Sony. Sony is, when you think Sony, you think that cool Japanese brand. Do you know what I mean? And this was a throwback to that Sony, that this is, I think the best way to put it, this was a guy just slapping their balls on the table, because Sony were just like, okay, I like what you got. That was nice. Check this out. You know what I mean? And Sony killed it. Like, again, 10 out of 10 for me. Best reveal event ever. And you do not understand how much showing the hardware meant to that reveal. Because we said it. We were like, if they don't show it, they can hold it. They'll take their time and do it. But Sony were like, what are you going to bitch about now? We just showed you all that.
We showed you everything. Yeah, this is it now.
And the weird thing is, the next day, there's always something that media will bitch about or find something to bitch about. And the only thing non-Xbox media could bitch about was that brief... They had to find something, and it was Spiderman. Saying that, it's part of a remaster. And then it took Insomniac to say, no, it's a standalone game. And then you like, nobody bitched about the machine. No one bitched about the presentation. I think everyone was in unison in the industry saying that, oh my God, Sony killed it.
Presentation. Yeah, definitely. definitely. And they showed everything. I mean, they didn't even need to show all the IPs that they have. I mean, we still haven't seen God of War. We still haven't seen Uncharted.
Dude,
Still haven't
so
seen
many.
so many different things. But it just shows that what they did show are the IPs that they are now trying to establish. Obviously, we got Spiderman. I mean, it was a great outing by Insomniac, the first edition, and then obviously the second edition of the Horizon series as well. They're just showing that these are now going to be staple IPs that they're going to be pushing forward. So this is going to be interesting. They can create things which were pretty much non-existent and make them into something which people are now going to be looking forward to. Now, these are like the event games that people put synonymously with the actual console itself. So you need to see a Horizon, you need to see a God of War, you need to see a Resi, you need to see a Spider-Man or something from it. And not to mention the other games that they're talking about as well, the Astrobots as well, how they're now going to be pushing that forward as pretty much being not the Mario killer, but, they're looking for the crown. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly how they're going to throw this all together for this next generation. And this, to me, was definitely the first introduction to the next generation. Xbox has already made their statement saying that it's going to be a transition period between them. Sony said no. Yeah, even though there are some, cross generation games, they're basically just easily saying that this is the quality that you're going to be looking for. All the AAA first party games that you saw are of the standard that we're coming to expect, and this is only the first stage. We haven't even seen anything yet, so it's up to Sony, man. I think they did a great job. Yeah.
Excellent. And obviously, going forward for Sony, the next big thing is EA Play, which is this Thursday. The only thing we care about is 4 p.m. British Standard Time. Don't care about anything else. But just check online, EA Play. That's obviously where you'll see FIFA, Madden, NBA live if they've got it, NHL and other things as well. And hopefully we see some next gen. If we do, we can obviously talk about it on our next episode next week.
Yep.
But listeners, this has been a long one, but it had to be. We hope you enjoyed it. Any questions in that, send them in. You can find us on YouTube, the latest PS5. Please subscribe, like our videos as well. We do put them in video format. This one should actually be a lot faster, Al, because you've just got to time the actual showcase to it. That's it.
Already got the trailers. Already got them.
You know what I mean? It should be pretty quick because we did it in order, right, as well. So it's nice and easy. But head over to YouTube. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're also available on Apple iTunes, so if you could just subscribe and leave us a review on there, that would be great. And also on SoundCloud as well. Just follow us on SoundCloud and you can listen to the episode on there. And most importantly as well, head over to Twitter at latest PS5. That's it. I tried to remember what it was, at latest PS5. Give them a follow. They put up all the real news across media channels about PlayStation 5. No fake news on there or anything. So it's a great thing on there.
Nice.
Whew, we did it, Alex. We did it.
Yeah, we did it. It's here.
Thank
Let
God.
the revolution begin.
That's it. We said 1 hour. We almost went 2, but we got through the whole list.
We got it. Yeah, man.
Excellent.
Sick, man.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Hello, citizens of
PlayStation.
So exciting.
Incredibly exciting. It's really about love
For the player's effort.
as a developer. That's an amazing feeling to have.
Welcome to PlayStation 5.